Loosh,
Ibby.
and you. It's the Cool Cousins podcast. We're back.
You could talk to us more than your parents.
That's a fact. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I've been meaning to launch this podcast for a really long time, and I said 2021 was going to be the year that I actually do so. And I'm really, really happy that we finally just started.
Just went into it. No, it's good, man. It's good. It's going to be great.
Yeah, actually, fun fact, I had a podcast a few years ago. It was called the Lucky Gang Podcast, and it was really fun. I had a really good time doing it, and I had a whole bunch of friends help me out like with their businesses and stuff, and I was able to kind of tour around and have that. Actually, the Blue Yeti, the mic, if you're watching this on YouTube, is the first mic that I ever used for my content creator career, if you will. And the rest is history. And that kind of fizzled out because then I started focusing more on YouTube. And this is on YouTube, actually, the Cool Cousins podcast. And of course, we are streaming for your ears as well. But I am going to be posting this. All the links are going to be down below for Instagram, for YouTube, and all the other audio streaming services. But I'm really happy that you're here, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm glad to be here, of course.
Lush and Ibby, we are the Cool Cousins. Ibby, what do we mean? Why Cool Cousins?
Well, like I said before, you could talk to us more than you could talk to your parents. You could spill the beans here.
Spill the beans.
Ask us whatever you like.
You rewind back to those days, growing up. And I hope that you had that experience growing up as Arabs. Cousins are something that we get very used to at a very early age. And as Lebs, as Lebanese people, it's kind of a running joke with everybody. It's like, yeah, I got a cousin for that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Everything's about the cousins.
Yeah,
everything.
Even it doesn't have to be blood related. If you're a cousin, then you're a part of the family.
Of course.
And you're definitely a part of the family for those watching and listening. And that's really what we're trying to do here is create that vibe where back in the day, staying up late, you've got, the snacks out and you're watching a movie and you can just kick it, because a cousin, it's not like a sibling where a sibling you kind of live with, and sometimes it's too close for comfort.
Yeah.
With a sibling.
It's like a brother far from home.
Yeah.
You could just spill, say whatever you want. Talk shit.
Yeah,
and just let loose.
Talk mad shit.
Oh my god.
Like gossip like it's like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So we're really happy to be starting this journey, and I reached out to my family, my cousins. I did a call out for questions, and I said, listen, we're onto something here, and I'd really love for you guys to be a part of it from the very beginning. And we got some really good ones. The first one we got, big shout out to Zach. He's been a ride or die.
My man, Zach.
For a really long time. And he asked, as an Arab in today's society, what are some issues you had to deal with?
My God.
You've been through some stuff.
Yeah, I have. I've been through a couple.
So these questions are really just to introduce sort of ourselves. This podcast is about culture, lifestyle, and all the dysfunction in between. And we want to just use these questions to kind of get the ball rolling as some icebreakers here.
Realistically, the only issues are probably racism, road rage all day long. Of course, it has to be road rage with me.
So it was in the car.
It was in the car, bro. It was in the car. I was pulling out of a parking spot, and there was a car coming right behind me. I didn't see it, and he honks at me. So put my hand up and I apologize. Didn't like that. He's like, watch where you're going, Mexican. I'm like,
he had you confused for a Mexican.
I'm not Mexican, man. It's just, and I told him, I'm like, okay, first of all, I apologized. Second of all, I'm not Mexican. I'm Lebanese.
Right.
Then he went on.
I don't think he really cares.
Oh, not at all. Because I
racist.
At that point, I just fed his ego.
Yeah.
Dirty Arab, terrorist, this and that. It's like.
Yeah, he had to dig into his Rolodex to be like, okay, what are we dealing with? It's not Asian.
No.
It's not brown.
Has to go into the archives.
You got to go into the archives, dig up the right file.
And yeah, man, at that point, I'm in uniform, right? I can't just, I used to do courier. I was in uniform. Can't just get out of my car and do anything about it. And even if I wasn't, I'm not going to get out of the car and do anything anyways, because it's not worth it. At that point, I'm feeding his ego even more. But yeah, man.
I mean, how uncomfortably Arab were you being, though, at the time? I mean, did you have the prayer beads swinging left and right? Did you have that ethnic wedding, or just that folklore music just completely destroying the peace and quiet that we're used to? Were you eating? Did you smell like shawarma? Did you smell like garlic? What type of inconvenience were you causing this man,
Bro?
Ibi?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I'm in uniform, bro. I had my like my windbreaker on, zipped up. I had my toque on my head.
Well, I mean, in centimeters, what was the length of your beard, Ibi? We need to talk about these
probably
things.
the length of yours. No lie.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Like I didn't grow my beard that long.
stubble.
Yeah, it was just like a scruffy beard.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think he saw the curly hair. Yes, I had hair.
Because them Arabs, you know.
Yeah, I had curly hair.
It gets uncomfortable.
Just went with a Mexican for some reason. And that's actually not the first time I've been called Mexican.
Really?
Nothing against Mexicans.
No, shout out to Mexico, man.
But because of the curly hair, they assume I'm Mexican. I'm like, I would love to
awesome.
be Mexican, but I'm Lebanese.
Yeah. I haven't had anything as direct as you. As an Arab, you know, I got to speak for Canada at the end of the day, right? Like our society is it really depends where you are.
100%. I agree with you.
In Canada.
I agree with you.
I feel like there's pockets. It's not as like widespread.
Even here in Ottawa, it's the same thing. Depends on which area you're in. You deal with different kinds of criticisms and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't feel like I've had any real issues. And I think that's mainly because I never really thought of myself as somebody to have an issue with for that reason, for being an Arab. Like I was never apologetic about it.
I never would be apologetic about it. I am who I am and I'm proud about it. I am who I am and I'm proud of it.
I mean, I think that's we'll save that for another episode, but you know, self-hate in the Arab community, particularly after, 9/11 and the media and the propaganda that has built up over the years. I think people genuinely have a reason to distance themselves from the culture, be it by rebranding themselves. You're no longer Muhammad, you're now Mike. But in terms of issues that I've had, I can't say that there's been too many. And maybe there have been, but maybe I'm just ignorant to them. You know, maybe I never really noticed, because it was never really blatant or in my face to the point where I was like, oh, you're actually profiling me. Another question here, I thought it was really interesting. Do you believe in world peace, Ibi?
I mean,
do you believe in peace covering the world?
I want world peace. Like I want to be at peace. I want everybody to be at peace, but I don't believe it'll happen.
Okay. So you believe in the concept, you just don't believe in the reality of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
You don't think world peace will ever happen?
No. Too much corruption, man.
Corruption?
Like, way too much corruption.
Yeah, I agree.
Too much people want to be in control.
You got to break it down into two different sections, world and then peace. So if we're going to use, the main word, which is peace, to be at peace is really to be at one. To be in the purest form of tranquility, to have no disruption and to have no ripples happening. And I think that's really, really hard. If we're not at peace with ourselves, we can't be at peace with others. And I think most people aren't at peace with themselves. Like if we're not fighting or we don't have friction with somebody else, we often have friction with ourselves. And like self-hate is a real thing. And so how am I supposed to believe in something for others or for the entire world when I can barely believe in it for myself? Nobody is as hard on me than I am, and the battle rages, the war rages on in my mind. And so I get the concept from an idealist perspective. I think I'm more of a cynic. Practically speaking, how are you going to have the world not have any friction? How are you going to have the world not have any disruption? Like it's in our human nature. We literally went to war to be the sperm that made it.
Yeah. Literally.
Your entire existence is founded on you coming up first against other sperms.
Being above everybody else.
Millions. You're the one that made it. And so you enter this world the victor. You already have that under your belt. And then you want to take that and say, well, I'm going to coexist with everybody and you want to try to. I think that, Canada is a very good example of like a peaceful society, but that's not to say that we don't have violence, conflict, and that we don't condone it either. Like, I'm a taxpayer. As a taxpayer, you condone violence. You're not you can be a pacifist all you want.
But what choice do you have of not paying tax? Like, you have to pay tax.
Absolutely.
If you want to live here, you have to pay tax.
You have to pay tax. But at the end of the day, we believe in the police. We believe in the military, restoring order when it's required. And where do you draw the line? You can believe in world peace. So the person that asked this question, which was a great question, by the way, it's very thoughtful. But let me know what you guys think if you're listening or watching. Do you believe in world peace? And if so, why? And if not, why? We got another amazing question here from Helen, who I know is a spectacular belly dancer. She's made a career out of belly dancing. Big shout out to Helen. She wants to discuss the differences between appropriation and appreciation.
Like, you mean like I know that term for businesses, like to appropriate, like, I don't know any other terms for it.
Yeah. So like when another company, like, is it appropriate? Is that the term?
I think so. Yeah. Appropriate. Isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. When you like take another company and like swallow it and like it becomes a part of your.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I think that the term culturally can be used in the same way, where you take something from another culture and you make it yours.
Okay. Yeah, we've discussed this before.
Yeah, we've discussed it on actually a lot of our episodes on YouTube, where we notice some people doing things for the sake of the culture, or they'll take something, in our case as Arabs, from the Arab culture, and they'll say, well, we want to be included, we want to be involved, but there's some selfish reasons behind it. The answer lies in the person's intention.
100%. Why are you dressed with a certain thing that has to do with somebody else's culture? What's your purpose of you wearing that?
The best example that I can think of right now is the scarf.
Yeah.
The Arab scarf, the kafiyeh or the kufiya, depending on your dialect. And that scarf was a symbol of resistance, particularly in Palestine with the British mandate there, and then also the Intifada and everything they've been going through. So the kafiyeh, the Arab scarf, is actually something that I noticed became more fashionable,
more relevant in a sense for a fashion purpose. Yes.
Yeah. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So when you look at an example, you can say, well, if Bob is wearing the black and white scarf, for instance, and he's at, a protest for Palestine, and he's well aware of the issues, he's educated, he's knowledgeable, he knows the background, he understands the struggle, he understands the meaning behind the kafiyeh and the reasons why he's wearing it. Well, in that case, I would say he is a cultural ally and he's appreciating something that means a lot to us.
Yes.
But if I see Bob, out and about, and it's a fashion statement, and he's matching with black and white shoes and white pants and a black leather jacket, and it's really something that he has no idea about, well, then in that case, I would say, well, you've just taken something for your own selfish reasons without really understanding the background behind it. Yeah. So now you're appropriating something of ours without really understanding it. And not only that, he may have like negative thoughts around the Arab culture while wearing that very same scarf. So he may be actually like ignorant.
Yeah,
completely.
It's kind of like people getting a tattoo in a different language and they think it means something, but it means something else.
It all depends on who's wearing it. And there's a bit of hypocrisy there, because if Bob's wearing it, the Palestinian scarf, well, it's like, oh, wow, he's super educated and he's knowledgeable and he's really fighting for human rights. But then if Ali or Ibrahim is wearing the Palestinian scarf, well, now suddenly we need to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, bro, yeah, it's going to be criticism all day long.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a double standard there.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for, fashion shows. If Sarah wears the hijab with her outfit, it's a huge fashion statement. She's liberated, she's empowered, she's speaking to the world that she's her own woman, and it's a beautiful celebration of culture and religion and all of the diversity that society should have. But then you have Fatima, who's wearing the very same veil and suddenly she's oppressed.
Might even want to ban the hijab at that point.
So we gotta look at context. We gotta look at intention. Thank you, Helen. Amazing question there. How does it feel to be Lebanese? Shout out to Yassine. How does it feel to be Lebanese living in Canada and being a Muslim in Canada? I mean, I can tell you right now, it feels fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Freedom, man.
I think in one of its purest forms in the world.
Like, we could do everything here. You know what I mean? It's obviously not the same as back home. Like back home when it's Eid, majority of the people there are celebrating. Like you go outside, you feel the celebration. Here, not so much, but I still have the freedom to go to the mosque and pray. I can fast here. I could do anything that my religion requires me to do here, which is, I'm thankful for it. Obviously, it's amazing.
You know, to be Canadian, which I am incredibly proud of, is also to be Lebanese, which I am incredibly proud of. And it allows everybody to be who they are and where they're from without impeding or stepping on the toes of, it's not at the expense of somebody else.
Of course, bro. Here we have so much, like the Lebanese community here is huge. The restaurants, the festivals, everything. It's amazing.
Yep. And you can even learn about other cultures here and you can teach them about yours. So
bro, and you know what's insane? When you go to other festivals or other restaurants, you realize the similarities in both cultures, yours and theirs.
All right, we're going to end it off with who is your business role model?
Business role model.
Yeah, who is your business role model?
Right now, I would say my current boss. So I'm an HVAC technician. He owns an HVAC company. Like, I look up to him for that stuff. As a businessman in general, as a boss, I have a lot of freedom to do anything I want. Learn a lot from him. Oh my God, he loves giving knowledge. That's why I look up to him the most, man. No, he's very, very good businessman.
Yeah, I noticed the people that are in a position of power that give more than they take are usually the most successful. And I think a lot of people have it twisted from in the business world. A lot of people think, well, if I'm the boss, what can you do for me? But when you flip it on its head and it's like, well, if I'm the boss, what can I do for you? Like, I'm at your service.
Like, bro, if I tell you how many times this guy would give me his truck and trailer to go do my own jobs, his tools to go do my own side jobs. And he motivates me to do so as well. Like, sometimes I don't even have to ask for it. He's like, yo, you want to do this? Go ahead, do it. Take whatever you want. What's mine is yours. It's amazing. Like, what more could you ask for?
Mine is my dad.
Yeah, your dad owns a couple of businesses.
My dad owns a couple of businesses. My dad has been an entrepreneur since, his mid-teens, if you will. And what's interesting about my pops is he actually, unlike a lot of Lebanese people that immigrated to Canada, he wasn't a product of the war. He wasn't a product of the Civil War. And he was actually recruited from, one of the top hotels in Canada to be a chef. And so he was studying the culinary arts, and he's such a fantastic chef. And he dropped everything. He left his comfort zone. He came to Canada and he literally built something out of nothing. And I love that old school, gritty OG mentality. Like him and a lot of others that are from that generation, they just have that work ethic that I wish I had like 1% of it, because they need nothing to keep going. Just like their sheer drive and motivation.
Oh, bro, they were built different, man.
They were built different. They were built to withstand the test of time, And so they built businesses in the same way. And they came from nothing, not even like barely knowing the language.
Oh, bro, it's like you're going into a completely different lifestyle. Like whatever you have, you're letting go of, and you're starting fresh all over again. It's insane. Like at what age?
17. My pops was 17. I don't even know what ditch I was passed out in at 17.
I was still in school being a bad kid.
I don't know what I was doing at 17. My pops was out there just trying to make a life here. And I'm just so grateful. And from a business perspective, everybody that's ever worked for him, unfortunately, he's been taken advantage of because of how nice he is. But he's truly like the main example of a successful person, business wise, family wise, everything. It's
amazing,
remarkable.
man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Amazing, man.
Let us know if you guys have any other questions, and if you want to chime in on this discussion. We would love to hear. You guys are the cousins. You're our cousins. All of our links are below if you're watching this on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Cool Cousins, and on all the streaming platforms. Yeah, I mean, this is it. Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Episode 1 is in the bag. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to be posting this on my regular Loose channel, but then all the other episodes I think are going to go on the Cool Cousins channel. And I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the next one.
And yeah, don't tell your parents.
Never that.